Did you ever make anything happen? Anything you couldn't explain?
Expelliarm!
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
We discovered a sorcerer's stone and soared with a boy named Harry.
You're a great wizard.
We unlocked a chamber of secrets and opened up a world of magic. We sought out a prisoner from Azkaban and found the power of friends.
The Tri-Wizard Tournament.
Now we go inside the Goblet of Fire. It's a time for change, a chance for glory, and a return of evil.
The devils are inside the walls.
Harry Potter is flying onto the big screen to cast a new spell on movie audiences. We'll look back to the past as we search for clues to what's ahead. We'll look behind the scenes for a glimpse into how it's done. And we'll join Daniel, Rupert, and Emma sharing stories about growing up Harry, Ron, and Hermione as the adventure continues. Inside Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
I think we'll ever have just a quiet year at Hogwarts.
No.
In the spring of 2004, the sprawling complex of sound stages at Leavesden Studios came to life as director Mike Newell began production on J.K. Rowling's fourth adventure, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Hi, Harry.
I think of the 4 films is the biggest and greatest adventure.
It's the ultimate thriller, which is fantastic. It's so good.
It's got wonderful set-piece scenes. There are dragons, and there are underwater terrors, and there's Lost in the Maze.
Wicked.
The world is beginning to expand, and we get a real sense of just how large the wizarding world is.
There are lots of new characters introduced.
And this strapping lad must be Cedric, am I right?
Above everything else, there is the appearance of the true villain for the first time, actually in his own self.
Harry in particular is growing up. In fact, Ron and Hermione too. And it's great, I have to say, to be around Dan, Rupert and Emma, seeing them grow, seeing their interests develop.
It was only a few short years ago that the 3 young stars were introduced to the world. 3 movies later, Dan, Rupert, and Emma have come a long way. Let's step back in time for a glimpse to where it all began.
There must have been hundreds of millions of people that auditioned, and they chose me.
He's right here. He's right in the corner frame.
It takes an actor of great depth and intelligence to play that role. And Dan Radcliffe is the only 11-year-old I've ever met who has that quality. And you just see it in his eyes. This is a really deep soul.
I was one of the biggest Harry Potter fans ever. And just to play Ron in the Harry Potter film has really been fantastic.
And with Dumbledore gone.
Good afternoon.
I was like, oh my God, I just stood there. Thought, no, this is all a dream, pinch me. And then it all started happening.
Petrificus Totalis. You're a little scary sometimes.
We tested a lot of kids, and once we saw these 3 kids on screen together, we realized that there was an enormous amount of chemistry between them, and we thought, these are the kids.
Harry's first year gave way to a second, and the Chamber of Secrets revealed its deadly mystery. Harry and friends grew up, and so too did the stars of the movie.
I was watching Dan and Rupert standing there, and I thought they don't stand like wee boys anyway.
Really scared down here. It's fantastic. You guys just naturally ended up here, which is great.
Me, Rupert and Emma and some of the other kids have developed really strong bonds now as well.
What's going on? What's happening?
Second year became the third. Harry confronted the evils of Azkaban, and a new director took the helm.
Harry Potter, and together with his friends there, growing up. Go for it.
Yeah. Cool. We're the same age, practically, at the same time. So I think we're experiencing a lot of the same feelings, and so I think I can associate with them, really.
The relationship between the 3 kids has changed. They're much older, and that really shows in all sorts of different ways.
They're teenagers, and I think there's sort of an ongoing stress. A lot is put on the relationship between the 3 of them, and they really rely on each other.
Harry! Harry!
Now, in the 4th and biggest adventure to date, Harry and his friends are children no longer and facing greater challenges than ever before.
The stories are becoming more complex, darker, and the kids are at an age where they're taking on much more. They can comprehend a great deal.
The task is 2 days from now.
Really? I had no idea.
At over 730 pages, The Goblet of Fire was J.K. Rowling's longest book to date, big enough for 2 feature films. The filmmakers narrowed the focus of their narrative.
There was one side of the book which you could string the pearls on, which was the thriller side of the story.
What is it I'm seeing when I dream? What do they mean?
It's a nightmare come to life. Voldemort, the Dark Lord, who was cast down 13 years ago, has been revived by his dark followers.
You don't see him, but you see his hand. He's in a chair at the beginning. You just sense his presence in a big armchair.
There is a terrible, murderous plot, but you don't know what it is.
As if in warning, Harry's scar screams in pain.
And when I woke up, my scar was stinging.
All he knows is that his scar hurts like hell. And the scar and the hurting of the scar and the dreams that he has while the scar is troubling him, they form a kind of chain of stepping stones through the story.
What lies ahead are dark things. Voldemort, the Death Eaters, the world as it was 14 years ago. Those were not good times, and we're on the precipice of times again that could be like that.
Worse for Harry, the walls that have guarded him and the protectors who have seen him through are crumbling in the face of evil.
There is something that is getting to Harry, that is trying to get to Harry, that has infiltrated Hogwarts.
I think that whatever's happening, it's bigger than this. And I really think you should go to Dumbledore.
Harry's world's completely shaken because Dumbledore, for the first time we see him as an old man who's not at the height of his abilities anymore.
Mike said to me, this is a film in which Dumbledore is no longer in control. He gets frightened. He doesn't know what to do.
This can't go on, Albus. First the dark mark, now this.
What do you suggest, Minerva?
That's a big thing for Harry because it completely, as it would anyone, unsettles him, and so he kind of loses control of it.
With danger spiraling out of control and challenges beyond anything he's faced yet, Harry has to find the courage from within to see the adventure through.
Harry's a noble, spiritual warrior. Harry does the right thing, and we would all like to think that we always do the right thing, but we don't.
Dragons. That's the first task. They've got one for each of us.
Even though there is a really dark part to it, it still has this fantastic sense of humour.
Is that a student? Technically, it's a ferret.
To capture the balance between the suspense and the humor, producer David Heyman enlisted veteran director Mike Newell.
You trying to go back? Oh, you bloody do! Okay, there's got to be some physicality in it.
He is amongst the foremost directors of actors, and it's important for us to keep the kids challenged, to maintain the high standards that have been set by Chris Columbus and Alfonso Cuarón, and to build on that. And we thought that Mike Newell was the right person to do that.
And
then all you do is that and that.
He's very, very English. He wears a waistcoat every day, which I just quite like because you don't see enough waistcoats anymore, really.
He combines a real professorial quality with that of a true British public school boy. It's in his blood, and I think he brings it out very authentically in this film.
I told Hermione to tell you, the Seamus told me.
In lots of ways, this is a classic English school story. All right, it's wizards and wands and magic and stuff like that, but it is nonetheless a classic English school story. And we're all brought up on those things. I share all the same references. I don't even know I'm doing it.
But that was great!
He's just a real actor's director. And where I am now in terms of acting, I just want to learn as much as possible. And he gives very, very detailed notes, which is great because that's what I need.
He gives back so much energy, and instead of sitting there in his chair watching the monitor, he's out there and he's doing it, and he's giving back energy to the actors, and I think he's great.
He's so funny, he's completely crazy.
Once in a while, it was really worth being a clown in front of those people because there's no point in me being an authority figure. You don't get anything out of people that way.
He treated them very much as equals, but he also, he treated them as actors. He was the director, they were the actors, and he was treating them as partners in the process, but he was very much the taskmaster, and encouraging them, he saw in them what they could achieve and really elicited the very best from them.
Just have a look at this, all of you, because this is how it's roughly speaking supposed to work.
We talked a lot about how Harry is in this film and sort of the nature of his character and what he's going through and what that would make him feel. And so just through talking about him, we discovered things. So it really was good working with him, particularly from a kind of performance point of view.
Glance or two at Hagrid.
He's got a very inclusive notion of directing. He walks on the set in the morning and says, "This is what I imagine we're going to do today. This is what I'd like us to do today." I just talks you all through it. And then he goes off for a cup of tea, and then 10 minutes later we do our best to do it.
Look, is this your script?
Yeah.
Wow. I genuinely think he's brilliant. He's so creative. He's really passionate about making this the best film, and he won't settle for anything less.
Noel found inspiration in his young stars.
I found each of them funny, just because they were such kind of peppery and vinegary, and each of them has a very strong individual taste. And I enjoyed that about them.
Nightmares and a burning scar pass like a bad dream with Harry's return to school. Within the safe boundaries of Hogwarts' magnificent walls, Harry has lived through his greatest adventures and happiest times. But still, there is foreboding.
In the last three films, Hogwarts has kind of been like a safe house because it's kind of been impenetrable. This one, the walls have been broken down, and he's not as safe as he used to be.
But for Daniel, Emma, and Rupert, the return to set after a brief hiatus between films was like homecoming.
It feels like the school term started. It's really nice, actually. You really do find that after being away, you miss people, and it's really nice to come back and see them again.
Because the films take so long to do, and because we come back within a few months to do the next one, it is kind of like everyone's been away for the summer, and somebody's left school, and somebody's got a car, and somebody's changed their hair colour. It is like that.
Changes are also in store for the students at Hogwarts with the return of the Triwizard Tournament.
The Triwizard Tournament is an ancient magical tournament that's gone back a very long time.
The Triwizard Tournament hasn't come to Hogwarts for over 100 years due to a distressingly high death toll.
Joining Hogwarts in the tournament are rival schools of magic Beauxbatons of France and Durmstrang of Bulgaria.
When the Beauxbatons girls arrive, the Hogwarts boys are in a state of shock. They've never seen anything like this. These elegant, incredibly beautiful French girls walking down the hall is something that renders Ron in particular speechless. And I think we all remember that feeling.
These girls certainly know how to impress an English school by their entrance.
The men of Durmstrang are no less impressive.
They arrive fierce, cool, cold, male, in contrast to the distinct femininity of the Beauxbatons. And they're quite austere and intimidating.
If the competition was going to work, then the schools had to be very distinct. So the French school had to be more French than you could imagine a French school being. The Eastern European school had to be more kind of than you had ever imagined that they could be.
The Goblet of Fire will choose a single champion from each school who will face 3 magical tasks. Challenges so dangerous that wizards under 17 are forbidden to compete. For once, 14-year-old Harry can let someone else be the hero.
I think Harry's always yearning to forget his past, even though he saved so many people. He sort of wants the celebrity thing of it to end.
But other students are more than interested to take their stab at fame. The goblet calls forth its champions.
The Hogwarts champion, Cedric Diggory!
Cedric is the kind of golden boy. He is the archetypal superhero who does get the girl and things, which is a contrast to Harry. I think works fantastically well.
Cedric's a pretty nice guy who plays fair, and he sticks to the rules like he should.
Rob, who is this gorgeous golden boy, I look at him and I say, "You're the junior officer who goes over the top on the first day of the psalm. You're so good looking and so English public school and so sort of shy and so forth.
The Darmstadt champion is Victor Krum!
Well, Victor Krum is the Bulgarian seeker. He's a really good player. He's sort of worshipped by other players.
He's a real kind of man's man, really tough, strong, brave, and fantastic at sports and things like that.
The champion for bow battens is Fleur Delacour.
The character Fleur is completely beautiful, and all the boys kind of fall completely head over heels in love.
In a way, she is what English think a French girl would be. I mean, she's very chic and very, you know, Miss Perfect all the time. Quite graceful and quite serious as well.
The Goblet could not have picked a more inspiring group of combatants.
We now have our 3 champions.
And then the Goblet delivers an unexpected turn.
Harry Potter!
This is bad news, but there's no way round it. He has to compete.
For Harry, it's a disaster. He's in way over his head. He's too young and inexperienced, and what's more,
There are some who believe that Harry engineered this and put his own name into the cup.
would anyone believe that he didn't do it?
I didn't ask for this to happen, Ron.
But alone as Harry feels, he finds an unexpected ally in Hogwarts' new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Mad-Eye Moody.
I think that he's somebody who chased the demons away from goodness to such an extent that he got quite warped by it.
Moody is an Auror, a dark wizard catcher. He was a great wizard in his time, but his paranoia has him balancing on the knife's edge of madness, seeing dark wizards around every corner.
Ron really likes him. He's just crazy and completely mental, which he really likes.
Mad-Eye Moody is one of these people who tells it how he sees it and is very honest and very blunt about things.
Mad-Eye Moody steps beyond what is proper, does not always know what is appropriate.
Professor Moody! What are you doing? Teaching.
He is quite ferocious at times, but at the same time is lovable. You can understand his appeal, and he is keeping a watchful eye on Harry.
To play Moody, the filmmakers turned to the great character actor, Brendan Gleeson.
What appealed to me about him was the fact that he reminded me of some of the teachers of the old school, that whole notion of tough love and all that kind of thing. And I can remember some people from my own past who would have come close to where Mad-Eye has ended up.
There is some kind of elemental quality to him, which is part savagery and part kind of wide-eyed innocent. And those two are very finely balanced in Brendan.
And if the students at Hogwarts found Moody to be a real shock to the system, his real-life alter ego Brendan could be quite a handful himself.
He would say, look, there's a great bit in the book, and you'd think, yeah, Brendan, okay, fine. I know about the book. You know, the book is 750 pages. I've got 120. What do you want? But you'd then look at it and you'd think, no, actually, maybe he's right there.
He's a really, really nice guy, and it's such a great part as well, and he does it absolutely terrifyingly.
If Brendan was to truly embody the part, they needed to create the look as well.
We took a lot of trouble getting him right, making the makeup and the costume work.
The key was Mad-Eye's magic eye.
There's something odd wrong with the peripheral vision to his left side. The doctors don't quite know what's wrong, but he's made this magic eye for himself that can see out through the back of his head and see in various different directions.
Thank you.
What a charismatic quartet.
Another new character on the scene is the meddlesome reporter, Rita Skeeter.
What a lovely name. Rita Skeeter.
Rita Skeeter.
So,
She is the worst sort of tabloid journalist who just will write whatever she wants to write, not what is true.
lovely.
I call her the caring, sharing face of investigative journalism. Basically, she'll do whatever it takes to get a story which she's already pre-written in her head, which, in the case of Harry, does have an element of truth to it.
No one else could play her apart from Miranda. She's brilliant.
Rita's constant companion is a magical pen with a mind of its own.
Rita uses a quick quote squirrel, which means that she has her hands free and all her concentration can be on the person in front of her, which is mostly Harry.
His classmates are tormenting him. His friends have deserted him. His steps are dogged by a muckraking reporter, and someone is out to get him.
Harry's life is out of his hands. He has no control really over where it's going. And so I think that's a big thing for Harry because it completely, as it would anyone, unsettles him. And so he kind of loses control of it.
The only thing that seems certain is that Harry's one-time triumphs over giant trolls and deadly snakes will pale against the tasks before him now.
Not a good year for Harry. Doesn't have many good years, really.
This can't go on, Albus. First the dark mark, now this.
What do you suggest, Minerva?
Put an end to it. Don't let Potter compete.
Once again, Harry's back is against the wall, and every card in the deck is stacked against him. Thrust unwillingly into the Triwizard Tournament, he now must face 3 terrifying magical tasks without the experience of the other champions and only his wand to protect him. And this time, the stakes are higher than ever.
They're all kind of potentially fatal tasks.
First up is a test of daring. The nature of the test is a closely held secret, for courage in the face of the unknown is an essential quality of a great wizard.
Dragons? That's the first task? You're joking.
Luckily for Harry, secrets unravel quickly in the wizarding world.
Everyone cheats in the Triwizard Tournament. It's like an unofficial rule. Hagrid, who knows about the dragons, forewarns Harry about the dragons.
Well, it's not really heads up. It's only one of the events. It's a game of 4 halves, you know. His main concern is that Harry survives. He doesn't care if Harry wins or not. I don't think. I think he just wants Harry to live.
Cut! All right, very good. One more, please.
Of course, with this task, living is very much up in the air.
Harry steps out into the arena and is immediately attacked by this dragon.
He can breathe fire like any dragon, but also that his tail can cut a building in two and come right forward in front of his head, kind of like a scorpion. Scary stuff.
It's a very good, savage creature. Of course, the dragon exists only in the distorted mind of some computer creator. But nonetheless, he's brilliant.
And jump!
It was very, very physical, which I enjoyed in some of the stunts. Some of the stunts were a bit scary, but fine.
Without the magical skills of his fellow champions, Harry relies on nerves. And the one skill that sets him apart from everyone else.
Wow! I see a firebolt!
Harry's forced to conjure his broom, at which point the dragon manages to escape from the tether of the chain and flies off in pursuit of him.
The stunts became even more intense with the dragon chase far above the Triwizard Arena and into the rooftops of Hogwarts.
I was on a wire and I fell, I think, 40 feet, and very, very fast, actually. That was really, really terrifying, and I'm not afraid to admit that. That was really scary. Anyone would be scared, I'm convinced.
And then you get a much more mysterious task of the second one, which all takes place underwater, with certainly some pretty dangerous creatures that kind of sting you and pull at you.
So, champions, you may begin now!
The 4 champions have to dive into the water and swim deep, deep, deep to retrieve something that is most dear to them.
The actors perform their own stunts at a specially built, state-of-the-art production tank at Leavesden Studios, the largest tank in Europe.
I'm a terrible swimmer. I'm really, really bad. I cannot swim at all, but a lot of the stuff you'll see in the film, I'm proud to say, is actually me. All the shots where you see my face, that face hasn't been superimposed onto anyone.
Luckily, Dan rose to the challenge in the way that he generally does. Actually, he's absolutely fearless. Dan can swim better underwater than he can on the surface, in fact. For him especially, he bore the brunt of it as ever. And to act properly underwater, only being able to contain 30 seconds worth of breath in his lungs at any one time, and stay underwater sometimes for an hour and a half or 2 hours at a time, is just incredible.
Emma Watson also got her feet wet in the Leavesden tank.
I think it really does pay off because nothing they could do with special effects would look as real as it does when you're doing it on camera.
Champions, prepare yourselves.
The third task is an enchanted maze, a test of character.
Mr. Filch!
Can the champion hold on to himself when everything around him is lost?
And the last one really is creepy. It's like being in a cemetery at night and you get lost and you get freaked by being lost.
The maze is giant, 20, 30, 40 feet high, and it runs down paths which seem like they'll never end. And there is times within where you don't know if you'll ever get out.
It's such a scary concept, and there's smoke coming out of the hedges, and it's all very dark, and it's great, yeah.
The maze is not what it appears to be. It very much comes to life. The maze is a place where you are in danger of losing yourself.
We start to get lost, we change personalities. It becomes difficult to understand what's actually happening.
It's the isolation and the fear about not knowing what's behind the next corner, and you don't really care who's your friend. There's only one thing which you know is in there, which is the cup, and you know once you've got the cup, it ends.
It does remove you from the world that you know completely. It's like it reduces you to your animal components, and you become savage and inhuman.
In each of the tasks, Harry demonstrates the nerves, cunning, and character of a great wizard, and yet each one seems to carry him closer to Voldemort's plan.
Suddenly, the hand of Voldemort reaches out and snatches him. It's as if, a tumbler on a lock falls with each task. The door opens and there is the villain.
He's a very vulnerable, kind of fragile kind of hero who is incredibly afraid of things and of Voldemort. So he's not the all-conquering brave hero at all.
4 years of nearly non-stop film production on the Harry Potter set, and suddenly a strange new phenomenon settled in on the young cast. The seasoned veterans noted their younger cohorts striking cool new poses and exhibiting a new awareness of the opposite sex. Yes, the young cast members had become teenagers.
You noticed subtle little shifts in interests and attitudes and different ways of groupings, and then suddenly girls, the I hate girls, they always scream when you pull their hair, has suddenly been changed, the old hair gel's going in, and a lot more leaning on things in that very bored way, which I wish I could do, but I haven't been able to do since about 1964.
They're all shooting up, and their voices have got deeper and things. Deeper, certainly deeper than mine, I think. But it's wonderful, really.
I see them, their interest in music, their interest in the opposite sex, their interest in culture and art, in friends, in how they communicate with people. They communicate with us, with me, for example, as an equal.
Those changes can be seen on screen as well. Harry, Ron, and Hermione experience their own teen drama, particularly as they discover the opposite sex. This takes center stage with the Yule Ball.
The Yule Ball is first and foremost a dance.
The Yule Ball is sort of centerpiece of the film. It's when the various schools come together to dance and celebrate Christmas.
The Yule Ball is fast approaching, and Harry doesn't have a date.
Why do they have to travel in packs? How are you supposed to get one of their own to ask them?
In fact, given the choice between asking a girl to the Yule Ball and battling a Hungarian horntail, a second round with the fire-breathing dragon doesn't seem like such a hardship.
All these really cold looks from all the girls, it's just so reminiscent of real life. I think it's the truest scene we've had in the film so far.
What annoys me about a lot of heroes in films is the way they do always endlessly get the girl. And they spend no time getting the girl. It just happens. Whereas in the film, Harry spends most of the film trying to get the girl.
Harry!
That's what's so great about him. He's not an archetypal hero.
For the first time, the opposite sex comes across his radar. And it's not easy. It never is easy, never will be easy. But this is their first experience of it.
This is mad. At this rate, we'll be the only ones out here without dates. Oh. We find it really hard to find a date, and it takes us ages. And it's sort of getting a bit embarrassing because everyone else is getting dates, even like Neville, he's got a date. So this sort of puts us down a bit.
With girls giggling and shrieking in the corridors, everyone seems obsessed by the Yule Ball. Even Hermione seems on edge.
Wait, Hermione? You're a girl.
Yeah, well spotted.
Come with one of us. Oh.
Believe it or not, someone's asked me.
Gone are the days when Ron could discount Hermione out of hand as a bossy know-it-all.
You're going to take someone's eye out.
We find out that Hermione has actually been asked to the ball by Victor Crumb, much to the disappointment and ire of Ron Weasley, who clearly has a bit of a crush on Hermione.
And at the beginning films, you sort of sense like a sort of relationship between them two. And I guess he's sort of jealous of her because he's going out with like his favourite sort of sports star, Crumb.
She looks beautiful.
The atmosphere, when they enter, changes completely. She's completely transformed. Well, she's pretty already.
Emma was never ugly. So, you know, she's always been quite beautiful. So, I mean, I was kind of like, wow, you're just even more beautiful. Obviously, it's a huge moment in the film, and it is a big transformation. But for me, I'm kind of like, well, I've seen you at premieres. So, it's great.
Of course, Harry knows exactly who he wants to go with.
He falls completely in love with Cho Chang. He's not even a crush. He loves her.
Katie is, in part, Cho Chang. You just feel it. You can understand why Harry would be smitten with her. Katie is just adorable.
He asks her to the ball, and he does it incredibly without any kind of tact. He kind of shouts it at her.
Cho?
Yes?
I just wondered if maybe you want to go to the ball with me?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
You know, I feel really sorry for him because I know how it feels to be kind of standing there and having nothing to say. And you know, because hormones sort of drive you to extremes in those kind of particularly when it's the first girl you ever fancy or have a crush on.
Parcel for you, Mr. Weasley.
Asking the girl is only step one in the gauntlet of humiliation in line for the boys.
My mum sends me my outfit for the Yule Ball, which is you got to wear like these sort of fancy dress robes, and mine is just it's horrible. It's like pink lace all over it. It's covered in like flowers and that.
To dance is to let the body breathe.
Dance lessons are an even more nerve-wracking experience.
Dancing was hysterical, absolutely hysterical. I loved them.
It's good fun to do. I enjoyed learning to waltz, which I've never done before.
This is a really sort of new thing to me. I never really sort of, especially that sort of dancing.
We had Wayne, the choreographer, and his lovely assistants. They were absolutely marvellous, and they'd teach these kids to dance, some of whom could, and some of whom, by God, could not.
Place your right hand on my waist.
Where?
My waist.
We were having a dance lesson, and Professor McGonagall asked me up to help her show everyone how to dance.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. I had to try to teach Rupert, Ron Weasley, to dance the other day. That was pretty strenuous.
We had to waltz around in front of everyone. It was a bit embarrassing.
For Harry, the pressure is worse still because the ball begins with a ceremonial dance.
It's traditional that the 3 champions, well, in this case 4, are the first to dance. Surely I told you that.
No.
Oh, well, now you know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I knew I was going to have to dance in front of everyone else. It was so terrifying.
You trust me, don't you? Wait, then.
You can see dear old Dan, who works his ass off at absolutely everything, and at the minute, at any rate, God did not necessarily mean him to be a ballroom dancer, and it's just very funny, because of course that's the character's dilemma.
I would have liked to be very impressive. In my mind, I could see everyone going, oh, he's such a good dancer, wow. And it didn't happen.
I think what Mike wanted was that he didn't actually want us to know very well. He wanted it to be just really truthful. He didn't want us to all get up and do it perfectly. He actually wanted the camera to pick up and the fact that none of us had a clue what we were doing.
Director Mike Newell challenged the production designers to transform the Great Hall into an unforgettable setting for the Yule Ball.
I knew that what had to happen is that something had to change completely, but I had no idea what to do. And then Stuart simply came to me one day and said, I think we should have an ice cave.
Stuart Craig made the whole Great Hall silver, covered in silver and ice.
The fire burned ice, the lamps burned with icy flames, and the whole thing, of course, looked like it had been created by Swarovski crystal.
With these exquisite designs, the stage is set for a stunning transformation. Even Hagrid is bitten by love.
One of the visiting school's headmistress is Madame Maxine, who is 10 foot tall. Now, Hagrid is 8'6", and of course, they just da-da-da-da-da. The dancing that I do with Madame Maxine, it was done very, very cleverly in a way that I cannot possibly reveal. But the fact that I'm not Nureyev will not be apparent to the naked eye.
May I have your arm?
Arm, leg, yours.
With Harry's teen years come not just a mystification with the opposite sex, but also a new awareness, a sudden insight that adults don't have all the answers, and that your closest friends can be your most heartfelt rivals.
I didn't put my name in that cup. I don't want eternal glory. I just want to be...
He is becoming a teenager, and so I think he is more angry in this film because he won't settle for no as being an answer.
Even Harry's closest friendship is rattled by teenage angst.
Hagrid's looking for you.
Well, you can tell Ronald...
I'm not an owl!
I wouldn't say he treats the people around him badly. He treats them as anyone under incredible kind of stress would treat them. He just kind of lashes out from time to time.
Oh, finally caught on, have you? It took you long enough.
Hermione just spends most of this film worrying about those two and just being the kind of girl in between going, oh, please don't fight. Just make up. Let's be mature about this.
Look, Harry, we can do this. The three of us can figure it out.
But nothing prepares Harry for his new teenage insight into the limitations of his greatest protectors.
I'm afraid there are no easy answers, Harry.
Dumbledore says, look, I don't know where this come from, I'm very sorry. And Harry kind of doesn't accept it.
Harry's seen me for the first time as a man who isn't perfect, who doesn't know everything, who isn't the big wizard. That must be quite a shock for him, I suppose.
Harry has to come to accept the fallibility of adults and ultimately realize that he is the one who has to know, and he has to trust his ability to know what is right and what is wrong.
Presumably Potter is well prepared by now and could do with a good night's sleep. Go.
Avada Kedavra.
The unforgivable curse. Only once has someone survived Avada Kedavra and bears a lightning bolt scar for his trouble. Voldemort, his would-be assassin, was reduced to a thing barely alive. 13 years have passed. His followers have stood by long enough. And now the unthinkable happens.
The storm that is coming is that Voldemort has returned.
His devout followers, called Death Eaters, herald his return.
The people who are bad, they're irredeemably bad. They're not very nice. And when they pretend to be nice, it's because they're pretending, because underneath it, they're the followers of the Dark Lord, who is the most evil creature on Earth.
The Dark Mark calls them back to the fold. Chief among his followers is Lucius Malfoy, the father of Harry's longtime enemy, Draco.
He's been praying for Voldemort's return for a very long time. This is my paradise scenario. I don't normally get to go out like this during the day, and when you put this stuff on, you put these beautiful, long, stately robes on and fur, and particularly when I grab that cane with the snake head at the top, I just suddenly become incredibly unpleasant.
Peter Pettigrew, called Wormtail, betrayed Harry's parents 13 years back, and now is Voldemort's key attendant.
Pettigrew has found himself being the Batman, cook, chef, valet, bottle feeder. He nurtures Lord Voldemort. He keeps his blanket warm.
Wormtail is a study in despicable behavior.
Because of the whole look, the suit and the hair, and now the teeth, I just started to feel that the character's natural stance would be kind of rat-like, you know, or ready to be in some way sort of creepily subservient.
But for Harry, the real nightmare is Voldemort.
Enemies doesn't quite do it justice, because at the same time as hating him with every fibre of his being, Harry is also absolutely terrified of him.
The Dark Lord shall rise again.
Ever since the beginning, I've thought of Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort.
Is it Voldemort?
He's really quite terrifying. It's going to really freak people out, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Mike was very keen to explore the unexpected mood swings of Voldemort. So there are moments when sort of anger spits out at him, at Harry, and other moments when it can be very silky and smooth and almost pleasant.
The way he used his body, like he does all this stuff when he's being reborn with his hands, and it's fantastic.
He's new in this body, it's new to him, so he's testing it. So when we first see him touching, feeling his head, feeling his face, his eyes pop open.
Everything's going to change now, isn't it? Ow! You stood on my foot!
Daniel, Emma, and Rupert have grown up on film. They've worked with some of the finest actors in the world and become better actors for it. They faced legions of adoring fans and yet held on to their humility.
All as sweet and, even sweeter possibly, if it's possible, than they were on the first film. They are good people, each and every one of them.
I have made very good friends with them, but I would like some female company occasionally.
Emma has matured, grown more comfortable in herself, become more confident. She's more outgoing and really caring for those around her.
We got on really well, and they've made it so fun, Dan and Emma.
And Rupert, funny, witty, droll. He has the humour of someone 20 years older than he is.
Rupert is absolutely hysterical. He is so funny. And Emma is amazingly clever.
Dan is completely unaffected by his fame, by all the attention, is able to do these really significant exams, study for them, and take on this most physical of all the films, this most challenging of all the films.
It's wonderful, really. It's very good to see them change like that.
I'm terribly impressed with them. I continue to be impressed with them.
Daniel and Rupert and Emma are 3 movies better and more skilled. You can really see the leaps they've taken as actors and as technicians, just being comfortable around a film set.
Now, an exclusive peek at the new movie.
Give us a curse.
Well, my dad did tell me about one. The Imperious Curse.
Oh, yeah, your father would know all about that. Gave the ministry quite a bit of grief a few years ago. Perhaps this will show you why.
Hello.
Ugly little beauty. Ngorgio. Imperio!
Don't worry, it's completely harmless.
If she bites, she's lethal.
Harry and his friends are growing up. The stakes are higher now, but they rise to the challenge. They always do. With the Goblet of Fire opening in IMAX theaters and on screens all around the globe, audiences everywhere can thrill in Harry's greatest adventure yet.
I love magic.